Oh, hi guys, ZEECRAZYGee here. Yeah, sorry, you just caught me in the middle of one of those weird moments. You know those weird little interludes you have when you just sit down and think, I know what would be a good idea for a kids show? How about a show where a group of very young infants get themselves caught up in everyday adult situations under the guise of some childlike adventure, when actually they fail to grasp the dangerous reality of the situation and are potentially seconds away from death, you know, as you do. I am indeed referring to the Rugrats, one of many beloved Nickelodeon cartoons during the late 90s. I personally never watched the show that much growing up. It was a little bit before my time, but I did see the odd episode here and there, enough to know the show's characters and its premise. A group of babies and toddlers get into all sorts of crazy and sometimes potentially life-threatening situations due to their parents either not being good parents or they just don't love them, I don't know. But it was popular, even to the point where someone at THQ thought, yeah, this will be the perfect basis for an interactive electronic entertainment product. And just to oddly sidestep here, does anyone even remember THQ? I know they're technically still around in the form of THQ Nordic after they were brought out, but man, how far they fell. They published several spin-off games to popular franchises back in the day on Game Boy, but were mainly known for publishing a ton of licensed games for several companies, including Warner Brothers, Disney, and Nickelodeon. Like, during the early 2000s, these guys had the monopoly on TV and film licensed video games. And like most, their offerings were a mixed bag. There were some good, some terrible, some average. But with the Rugrats license under their belt, courtesy of Nickelodeon, what did they come up with? Rugrats Search for Reptar was the first in a few Rugrats games for the original PlayStation. And would you believe that THQ had a ton of faith in this game? Like, they ran a multi-million-dollar marketing campaign for this. The second biggest video game marketing campaign of 1998, only surpassed by Ocarina of Time. I mean, I suppose there's worse things to put over £1 million worth of faith into? But apparently it worked. The game sold over 1,460,000 copies. Yes, that many people took this off the shelf, looked at this and thought, yeah, that's welcoming, I'm gonna give this to my child. So how does Rugrats Search for Reptar hold up? Where does it stand amongst THQ's vast library of varying quality? Does it do the show justice? These are questions that frankly no one gives a toss about, yet I'm going to waste my time answering them anyway. Upon starting, we receive the logos of THQ, the developers N-Space, and what I can only assume is the stuff of nightmares. Nickelodeon! Okay, this is quite nice. We get the show's intro recreated in the game's engine. And of course it looks very janky compared to the original, but hey, I won't knock the effort. And we receive the main menu and... What was... Stop screaming. Oh my, I really don't like this. This is literal hell. Okay, this is starting to freak me out, so I'm just gonna start the main game straight away. So the long and short of the story is that Tommy has lost the pieces to his Reptar puzzle. And despite his son clearly being upset over its loss, Stu is more like, eat shit, here's a ball. And we get to begin the game in the Pickles' house and... Oh god, no. Hang on. So this is the Pickles house, which acts as our main hub for the game. We access other levels by interacting with an item relating to that level. Completion of these levels rewards us with one puzzle piece, as does collecting 15 Reptar bars scattered throughout said levels. And in a wonderful touch, each level of the game is based on an episode of the show, and they are categorized into easy, medium, and hard levels. And in a nice approach to the structure of the game, every easy and medium level is open to you from the beginning, allowing you to choose which levels you play and in what order. Very nice. Now the hard levels are unavailable until you collect a few more puzzle pieces. Probably for the best. I mean, we're not talking any hard difficulty here, we are talking Rugrats Search for Reptar hard. Now before we dive a bit more into the main levels, I think I should explain the nauseating introduction I had to this game, so how do I put this delicately? The camera is shit! I guess it must have been 5 o'clock somewhere when they made this camera, as well... Look, do I really need to say anything? It speaks for itself. Just look at this bloody shambles. Now, this may seem bad, but surely it can't get any worse. Oh, but it does! Oh man, the controls. The words that come to mind are slow and clumpy. Is that a real word? Moving the characters around feels heavy and jerky, and this combined with the camera will result in you constantly smacking your head against the wall, like this happens all the damn time. And Ah, the jumping. Whenever you jump, you get locked into the position you're facing, and the heavy feel makes it feel really resistant. And there's no real consistency to how it works. In certain situations when you need to jump over an obstacle or over a gap, there's no definite way to get the best height or distance to clear it. No matter how fast or slow of a run-up you do, it's just complete random on whether or not you'll do the jump properly. I don't know, maybe I'm just not doing this correctly, but it feels off. Like on these stairs, for example, it's much quicker to jump down than to climb down each of the steps individually. So sometimes I'll jump down and I'll clear a couple of steps, but sometimes I will clear the entire goddamn flight of stairs and shatter me little legs. On the brighter side of things, the game does do its best with the presentation to mimic the art style of the show. Yes, graphically, it is a bit rough around the edges, even for the PS1 standards. There have been other cartoon-based PS1 games that I do think look better. But regardless, there's no denying the effort that has gone into making the game look, sound, and feel like the show. As said before, every level is based on an episode of the show, and includes several nods and references by extension. The cast of the show all reprise their roles, and the character models as a transition from 2D to 3D managed to nail the look despite the PS1's limitations, even despite a few little quirks here or there like the ball sack on top of Angelica's head. Even this hub area has lots of charm with plenty of details and allowing you to explore the Pickle's home and interact with several objects. Oh hey look, I found Reptar! Now, since each level in the game is based off a different episode from the show, each one is its own little self-contained story, and through this it manages to offer something quite different in terms of its objectives for each level, but sometimes also in its gameplay as well. And despite the fact that every level focuses around the same concept of playing as a baby exploring everyday locations, there is a surprising amount of variety on offer here, for a kids game at least. And you know, there's not too many levels, and the majority of them are very short, so you know what, I think it would be fun to go through each one of them individually. You lucky sod you. First up, we have Chucky's Glasses, in which the babies are playing a game of hide and seek where Chucky is the seeker. So we look around the Pickles house for Tommy, Phil and Lil, who are, well, I don't really want to say hiding, I mean, like, I know you're babies, but you're not even trying. Once you do find them, you have to tag them and race them back to the playpen, which is made insanely easy by the tactic of jumping down the stairs. Now, I found Phil and Lil, so I'm only looking for Tommy, and I'm sure I've checked everywhere except Tommy's room, but surely Tommy isn't dumb enough to hide in his own, oh for fuck's sake. Next up is Egg Hunt, a very simple level in which we have to go around and collect these Easter eggs on the bottom floor within a time limit. Quick and easy, much like our next level, the Cookie Race, where we have to race Angelica to get some cookies, and it's made a million times better by what is undeniably the best music track in the game. Next we have the mysterious Mr. Friend, the only boss level in the game. Tommy gets trapped in the basement and has to fight off the robot Mr. Friend before he can get all Nazi with us. And this results in some of the most nail-biting and tense fighting gameplay I've ever experienced. Afterwards, we have our first bonus level, No More Cookies. The babies must keep the box of cookies from Angelica by standing still and eating them and passing the box around while she chases us. Now, I somehow managed to mess this up first try by being cocky and trying to let Tommy eat all the cookies, so I had to try again. What the hell was that? I guess since the cutscenes are rendered in engine, they were all in their positions that they were in during the cutscene at the start, but that doesn't explain why Angelica falls flat on her ass. Ice Cream Mountain now, one of my favourite levels in the game, and that's because it's actually a very good and well-designed crazy golf minigame. And it's surprising with how well it works mechanically, with having to hit the ball with the right power and how to angle it so it bounces off the edges. And it even allows you to openly explore each of the holes to find hidden Reptar bars. On the 8th hole, for example, there's a whole underground maze you could explore. And you can even find Mr. Friend's mummified corpse down here. And I can't help feel a tad bit sorry for him as he follows you around like a lost soul. Well, no longer. You come with me, my friend. I believe in second chances. You come up, return to the light. The world shall welcome you back. Oh. But yeah, I have to give this level props for being just a single minigame inside of the main game. It has a lot of thought put into it, at least for a game aimed at kids. Could probably do without the annoying ass commentator though.
Come again soon. Bye-bye. You don't want all that ice cream anyway. Boy, talk about phlegm. You want a year's supply of nothing.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Next up is another bonus level Mirrorland. Dee Dee buys an antique mirror and Tommy gets sucked into it, ending up on the ceiling, or maybe hell, could be either one. And to get back, we have to gather 6 balloons by breaking these boxes and popping all the little balloons to get one coloured one, if you can get your head around that. While a bit tedious, I enjoyed the nice upside down pickles house. It is fun, let it slide. Now on to our medium levels, beginning with Grandpa's teeth. During a picnic at the park, Spike steals Grandpa's teeth, Tommy busts a nut, and we have to go find Spike with Chucky following around. Maybe a bit too closely for my liking.
I don't like this.
Great, swell, I hit the air under the table with such force that it actually hurts me. Okay, hold up. Why the sudden music change when I enter the maze? Something's up, right? Come on, what's in here? Something gonna come around the corner and kill me? There's nothing here. Okay, let's just— Fuck me, it's a goose! When we do find Spike, a goose takes the teeth and abducts Chucky, so we have to ride on Spike's back and chase him. This is the stupidest shit I've ever seen, and the fact that they use the same music from Cookie Race only accentuates this. And to cap it all off, we have to hurl hockey pucks to stop the goose from chasing Chucky. Or you could just hit Chucky, it's just as fun. Visitors from outer space. The babies are kidnapped by aliens and Angelica has to break them out and escape herself while fighting off these floating TV things. Not really a lot to say here, except that for some reason the frame rate goes to shit on this level and it causes Angelica to have a fit while running. Also at the end, the babies just leave us to die alone in space. Lovely. Another bonus level touchdown Tommy. It is the exact same thing as No More Cookies except with milk. Next. Circus Angelicus. Angelica attempts to put on a circus comprised of 3 minigames. The first has us control Spike jumping over hurdles, and Jesus Christ, it just reminds me how bad the controls are. The second minigame has us riding a bike as Phil and Lil attempting to jump from this ramp, and the third and final one has us stopping this meter to allow Angelica to launch Chucky into a pile of leaves. And I'll admit, I just could not be asked to read the instructions for this, so I had no idea where to stop this meter. Chucky just kept strafing to the left, and I ultimately failed so many times that the level just booted me out. Let there be light. During a power cut, Tommy decides that he must open the fridge to get the lights back on, since that's where he thinks light comes from. And I will fully admit that this level was some scary shit when I was young. You're armed with only a torch to fend off these 2D cardboard cutout ghost things, and I don't know, it just scared me as a child. Some kids grew up with Resident Evil, some grew up with Silent Hill, but cool kids like me grew up with this. Truly the PT of its era. 7 Voyages of Cynthia, where we are literally knee-deep in shit as Tommy and Chucky have lost Angelica's Cynthia doll and Spike must go through the sewers to get it back. I don't know what it is, but playing as Spike really emphasises the stiff controls so much more. Like, trying to jump on these platforms is so pointless since it's just so finicky and you only lose a small amount of health by wading through the sewage. Incident on aisle 7, where Tommy has run away from Grandpa in a supermarket to find some Reptar cereal. We get some more clunky platforming, a pie throwing section, and a gauntlet of escaped lobsters, as well as our greatest threat, spilled coke. And trust me, spilled coke— I've just realised I spelt that as cock in the script. And trust me, spilled coke is so lethal it actually caused me to die several times in this level. Man, shit, dying in this game is actually quite spooky. The baby just cries in the middle of this pitch black void. This is horrifying. To top this level off, we finish a mini boss before getting our cereal. I'm sure all this carnage, abuse of the minimum wage staff, and several £100 worth of damage was worth it. Finally, we end on Toy Palace, where Tommy and Chucky are locked in a toy store overnight. The first part has us as Chucky trying to find Tommy, claiming that he's constantly scared of his surroundings. I don't know what he's on about. I mean, this place looks delightful. I'm sure that thing over there won't try to kill me if I go near it. Oh shit! The second part has us play as Tommy gathering boxes to reach a switch in order to activate this Reptar robot. And Christ, this level more than any other demonstrates how heavy and fiddly the controls are, with so many small platforms and gaps to reach these boxes. Right, just a few more boxes needed. Maybe there's a few around here. Jesus Christ! No. Nah. Nah. Fuck that. After all that, once you've collected 12 puzzle pieces, you'll be able to complete the game. Yes, you don't even need to beat all the levels to get to the end, it's so piss easy. Hell, you can beat this game in under an hour without even trying. I mean, it is a kid's game after all, but damn what a fleeting one. However, there is an endgame reward, the final level Reptar 2010. And for a kid's game, this is a cool bonus for completing it. You get to rampage across the city as Reptar. It's still a bit clunky, but it's fun. Oh hey, look, it's THQ.
Die, bitch!
And at the end awaits the grand finale, the true ending to this adventure. THQ's multi-million-dollar magnum opus, everyone. Fuck my life. And with that, we reach the end of Rugrats Search for Reptar, a quaint PS1 game that, for a game very clearly intended for little kids, I mean, let's not kid ourselves, it's a Rugrats game we're talking about here, it has a surprising amount of variety in its gameplay, despite it being hindered by some horrible controls and camera. But I do have to give it props for really utilising the Rugrats license and going all out with it to create a game that, while not playing brilliantly, does do the show justice in its dedication to its art style, its references, and using the show as inspiration for very gameplay ideas. Worthy of throwing over $1 million in marketing at it? Maybe not. But for kids, it's a good game and even still holds some nice nostalgic memories for me. Well, that was, an experience. But you know what? At least I come away with something. I come away with the working knowledge that a baby can survive jumping down an entire flight of stairs with no injuries whatsoever. So if you'll excuse me a second.